Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on my program. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you are joining me from any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contributions on this channel. Please kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. In this channel, I bring information to your doorstep. I bring news from all channels, from every angle. Things that have to do about the world, things that have to do about Africa, more especially Nigeria. I bring it to your doorstep, some information that you ignore, some information that you cannot be able to come across. I look for them, I bring it to your doorstep for you to see. Every video you see on this channel is for educational purpose.
Now, I'm worried. I may not be privy to some of the information that is existing within the intelligence community. But one we wonder that in the intelligence community, in fact, some of the very basic communication between citizens are being picked up if they're sensitive. If these elements have come on foot, that's what one of the things the Senate President highlighted, that they came on foot, and the number, there's several of them that came on foot. Now, how did they travel that distance without being noticed? They carried out these exercises for several hours, we understand. Now, the big question here is, now, after doing all of this, in Senate climbs, health will be rolling right now. People's jobs will be lost because this is a disaster. And the president said he's expecting a report. In fact, some people have criticized the president's statement, saying he was disappointed. I mean, those who would criticize to say, is the president not aware that these things are porous to this point? Is the president just getting to know at this point? What is the Minister of Interior doing? What is the Minister of Defense? What's the Minister of Police? What are these guys in the top echelon of security? What are they doing? Some people probably would have lost their jobs. Some people would have resigned voluntarily because of this disaster that is on the nation's hands.
Yeah, so there are two ways to look at this. Number one, those organizations that you mentioned, the coordinating elements within the national security architecture, a lot of them were there, or even if they were not there in person, they had representatives when Mr. President made that statement. The administrative machinery within the presidency were there. So I would hope that they had picked that statement by Mr. President and translated it into either a query or what in intelligence parlance is called a tasking order, or even a military operational request, where they will now send either, call it a query, call it a tasking order, call it a military request to the various organizations that are within the national security architecture, saying that, look, this has happened, this is your mandate, this is your responsibility, we need you to explain within 48 hours why this incident happened. And the other ramification of it is to set up a commission of an inquiry or an investigative body to now look into the development, find out who was responsible, whose inaction, or perhaps whose collaboration led to the issues. Last time I was in your station, we talked about the role that the Ministry of Digital Economy, and I think I keep on forgetting the name of that ministry, the role it can play in security. Now, we're all aware that there are several masks around that facility. Communication happened. The good thing, again, I'm going to be very circumspect in what I say. The manner, the platform with which they communicated are platforms that could have been picked before the incident, and are platforms that can be investigated after the incident. So I'm hoping that this coordinating element who we've talked about would pick up this, run an investigation. Now, in the meantime, one of the best actions that can happen is to suspend anyone who had responsibility and whose inaction and inability led to this incident, pending the outcome of the investigation or the query response by the several departments. Now, that is the only way to stop this impunity that has affected the security sector within the country. Again, it's not peculiar to the security sector. It's a common factor that runs across virtually all sectors of the Nigerian state. But it's really unfortunate that that same factor is also affecting the security sector. We need to stop it, and we need to stop it like yesterday.
Now, I mean, you share a lot of insights. You're a man of knowledge in this field, in this sector of security, and a lot of Nigerians respect what you say. I'm just hoping that this is just an aside, whether or not you share as much of this knowledge with the security community in Nigeria. Do you? Government and relevant agencies, do you? Do you share this kind of knowledge with and insight with them?
Sheung, gladly. You're aware, first off, I do run, I own an intelligence, commercial intelligence firm called Beacon Consulting. Now, just to give you an example, I talked earlier on about a campaign that the global body IS started. If you pick my report for May, it was mentioned, and that report I share free. It's a report that I spend a lot of resources in developing, but I share it freely to all the security departments. I don't know whether they bother to read. Occasionally, sometimes I get calls from them, but never formally. Now, again, on this platform, I believe a lot of security departments watch this platform. You invite me, you don't pay me. I spend my time, my resources, and of course, my knowledge I share. So I'm doing my part. The other side of it is, again, when issues come up that I believe are of relevance, we write briefs, and we send those briefs to the relevant security department. So that's the best we can do, just to inform, and if they use it, fine. If not, we've done our part.
On a final note, Mr. Adamu, I'm not in doubt, and no iota of doubt in my mind about the level and the amount of knowledge available, not to only Nigerians, to the government. And I sometimes feel that what is exactly happening to us? Is this a curse or something? We are very intelligent and very knowledgeable Nigerians. In fact, in the military, in the police, in every sector of our society. And when people leave this society, they go elsewhere and they thrive and they do very well. And I'm not in doubt of the fact that there's a lot of knowledge that is being shared, that is known within the Nigerian sector. But there is a consistent and a constant failure to adopt those knowledge into practical gains for the Nigerian people. This is, in simple terms, policy and governance. There is a failure of that, and it's been several years of that. How do we fix this? Nigerians are disappointed. There is a lot of disbelief from the Nigerian people, a lot of disconnect from the people to the government. Security does now look like every citizen's business. It's supposed to be the primary role of government. Government looks that it has failed in its job. Where do we go from here, Mr. Adamu?
One word: accountability. If we can introduce accountability within the security sector, it will change all of this. And the best way to introduce accountability is to have what I would describe as monitoring and evaluation capacity within the security sector, so that we give key performance indicators. We appoint you as the Inspector General of Police. At the time we appointed you, kidnap for ransom in the country was the metrics she's showing about, let's say, 500 in a month. Now your key performance indicator will be reduce it to 100. And that means we should have a system for monitoring in a very transparent manner. And that is what I do in my consultancy. We have these metrics. These metrics would help us in reviewing progress. And for me, anything short of that, unfortunately, would allow a continuation of that. But if we introduce accountability through monitoring and evaluation, and this introduction of these key performance indicators, as well as the strengthening of the legislative oversight over this, most of these organizations are within the executive arm of government. And so their failures is also partly the failures of the coordinating elements within them. So the best way to kind of put an eye and ensure performance is to enhance legislative oversight. And the best way to enhance legislative oversight is to increase the capacity of all the committees within the National Assembly. Now, the challenge is that because of our military legacy, a lot of our legislators, unfortunately, are either uncomfortable or, for lack of a better word, hesitant to get themselves involved in proper legislative oversight over these organizations that are within the security sector. So they need to increase their capacity to understand the security sector and to hold them accountable in the everyday oversight. The second element is the legislation, and I must commend the Buhari administration in terms of improving legislation within the security sector, but they must take it further by implementing a security sector governance reform so that we see an improvement, especially in the ethos of the functions of these organizations, where they see the average Nigerian as one that they should protect and not one that they should use their weapons against.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kabiru Adamu, for your thoughts and the insight that you've shared tonight on the program. A lot of us who, if you are in your 40s or your 50s, you'll be wondering how this nation has deteriorated in terms of security this badly, and a lot of places in Nigeria are now very difficult to live in. Health, education sector also gasping for breath. Thank you so much for your insight tonight. We'll take a break, everyone, and when we return, we're seeking answers. There is a huge security challenge in Nigeria, but how do we overcome the dilemma that we have faced? We have now been turned into...
Or I would say that those that are responsible, that is the security agencies, call their heads and say, get these people back in 2 days. Remember what Babangida did when Anini was on the loose, and he was even, robbing everywhere and even being so, let's say, spraying money. And at one of the Federal Executive Council meeting then, or is it Supreme Council meeting, Babangida said, Inyang was the where is Anini? Go and get Anini. When after 2-3 days they got Anini, isn't it? Now 100 days, the victims of the train attack are still not there, have not been found. And now, 2 days into this, nobody is even saying that this is where the people are. No. There is no situation room. Nigerians are not briefed, and you just talk on speculation.
Now, Senator, you are from Borno State, where the nation is fighting the terror war. A nation fighting terror war is at war. And the big question here is that you've described us populating the security agencies, the military and all of that, but these are not immediate solutions. Now, these guys are on the loose. We are talking about immediate protection of lives and property in this country. Lives are under threat. What do we do now?
Ask the people in charge to get these people back within 2 days, 3 days, or whatever you want.
Can they do it?
They can.
How would they go about it?
Well, give them what they want. If you say, go and do this, and what do you need? They will tell you. Give them what they want. Let them go and do it. They can do it.
If those guys that attacked the Correctional Custody Center, from what we're hearing, I understand, but the same guys who attacked the train in Kaduna.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I'm saying if they were the same, according to the reports we are hearing, if they were the same set of people who carried out this attack, and ISWAP, we understand, have taken responsibility, how do we deal with it?
Go after them. They are Nigerians, they are in the country. I'm sure if there was a proper response that day, that night, those people would have been apprehended or neutralized, as you call them. But there was no proper response, and they said it 4 hours into the time they were attacked. No support from anywhere.
Now, so when you say that nobody is briefing anyone, who should be briefing the nation? Who should be talking to Nigerians?
The service chiefs are there, and the NSA is there. The president is there. This is not a state matter, but if it is in a state, the state governor is supposed to be doing that. You see it happening everywhere.
On a final note, Senator.
Honestly, we're in trouble. Don't take these things lightly. I'm worried.
I am worried too.
No, I don't think so.
I am very worried.
No.
And that's why we made it a top agenda.
If we are serious, we should be talking about how to address this matter and what citizens need to do. Not to be talking about or allowing people to be just speculative and then you make it an issue. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed with the response of so many leaders. And it's our responsibility, the responsibility of government, the security and welfare of its citizens. And then you have leaders responding as if it is a casualty, it's not their responsibility. It's our responsibility. I feel pained. I feel pained to be called a senator, and I'm almost like helpless, or many of us are like that, sitting down to be observers. And you come here and ask questions.
If you have the powers tonight, Senator Alindo,
yes,
how do you fix the security situation?
Well, I'll call the security chiefs to prepare properly, and then I'll tell the nation what's going on, sharing with them what needs to be shared without compromising the security situation. But I'll get it done. The president is supposed to, or whoever is responsible, is supposed to sit some people down and get results. And get results. Not just making statements. I hear people, I said it before. When it comes to issues like this, it is the president himself that is supposed to be talking to Nigerians, not some advisor on press.
Who should be taking responsibility?
The president, of course, and all of us.
How will he do that?
He's the president. He's the president. He's the president. Anything, you see, religiously, let me tell you, by the time you take responsibility or you ask people to elect you as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, anything that happens to any Nigerians, God will hold you accountable for it.